Today, regulation is seen by more than 60% of EU companies as an obstacle to investment, with 55% of SMEs flagging regulatory obstacles and administrative burdens as their greatest challenge. The past 5 years were a period of very intense regulatory activity when Europe showed its determination to tackle the challenges and opportunities from the green and digital transitions. However, this intense regulatory activity also generated a large and still expanding regulatory burden. As we take stock of the impact of this regulatory activity, a major problem has now become apparent. The accumulation of burdens creates a volume of demands on people and companies that freeze innovation, deter investment, and encourage economic activities to move to other jurisdictions. This in turn makes our citizens poorer and undermines our ability to collectively reach our economic, social, and environmental goals. It also makes us more vulnerable to outside demands and influence. It is therefore imperative that we drastically reduce those burdens, not to abandon our objectives, but rather to improve our ability to reach them in practice. In addition to this internal reality, the international environment has also changed radically over the past months. Some of the most powerful economies around the world are now pursuing regulatory approaches that are diametrally opposed to those that had been rightly pursued by the EU. In some cases, these jurisdictions are prohibiting their businesses to comply with EU requirements, which in turn hurts our ability of our companies to source scarce and essential inputs and raw materials. This in turn puts our ability to secure the green and digital transitions and to develop a new European industrial leadership at risk. The problems is compounded by restrictions that we place on exploitation of those natural resources at home, outsourcing possible environmental damages to third countries without reaping the economic or security benefits. So let me be clear. To preserve our prosperity and our security, we have no choice but to confront these external realities. Our regulatory framework must become more agile and responsive to this changing environment. Without pursuing in earnest the interests of European workers and companies, we will not be able to deliver on the Green Deal. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past 5 years, I was responsible for delivering, together with a Commissioner for Employment at that time, the most ambitious ever implementation of the European Pillar of Social Rights. And I am deeply convinced that Europe's unique social market economy is one of our strongest competitive advantages. I also believe that our values and standards of democracy, equality, shared prosperity and protection of the environment have driven and will continue to drive economic and social progress here. Yet fundamental changes are needed in some other areas.